This is the Possible Care for Dogs. The podcast begins.
Welcome to a new episode of the Possible Care for Dogs podcast. Today we're diving deep into Jude's guide, Cocker Spaniel Health, Essential Best Practices for a Happy and Healthy Life.
Aw, Cocker Spaniels. They really are such captivating dogs, aren't they?
They really are.
Their whole affectionate nature just it shines through. And those eyes,
What was that?
those big expressive eyes and how playful they are. It's easy to see why people love them.
Absolutely.
But like Jude points out really well, their health, their well-being, it kind of hinges on us, understanding their specific needs.
Exactly. And that's really our mission for this deep dive. We want to unpack what Jude's laid out, pull out the really critical bits. We want to give you, whether you already have a Cocker Spaniel bouncing around, or maybe you're just thinking about it, a clear path. Help you ensure they live a happy, healthy life, but without feeling totally overwhelmed by information.
Sounds like a great plan. Where should we start?
Okay, let's jump right into some of the common health challenges Jude highlights. Ears seem like a big one.
Definitely. Ear infections, they pop up a lot with Cockers. And what's interesting, or maybe not so interesting for them, is that their most charming feature, those long, floppy ears, well, that's part of the problem.
Right, it creates like a little trap.
Exactly. Traps moisture, debris.
Yeah.
There's not much air getting in there. So it becomes this perfect little humid environment for, bacteria and yeast to thrive.
Wow, victims of their own cuteness, almost. So Jude makes it clear, and I think the AKC backs this up too, that weekly ear cleaning isn't just like a nice to do, it's vital.
Absolutely vital. It's a cornerstone, really. Non-negotiable for keeping those ears healthy.
Okay. What else should owners be aware of? Jude mentions hip dysplasia.
Yes, hip dysplasia. It affects quite a few breeds, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on with Cocker Spaniels. Basically, the hip joint, the ball and socket, they don't fit together quite right. It's a bit loose. And that can lead to arthritis or pain down the line. Routine vet checks, screenings can help catch it early. And one of the biggest things you can do, really, is keep them lean. Maintain a healthy weight to reduce the stress on those joints.
Makes total sense. Less weight, less pressure.
Okay, so we talked about ears, hips. What about those incredible eyes we mentioned?
Yes, those soulful eyes. Unfortunately, according to Jude, they are more prone to certain issues.
Like what specifically?
Well, there's cataracts, where the lens gets cloudy, affects their vision. Then there's PRA, progressive retinal atrophy. It's a gradual breakdown of the retina.
Oh, dear.
Yeah. And glaucoma, too, which is increased pressure inside the eye. It really drives home why those annual eye exams with the vet are so important. Spotting things early makes a huge difference.
Absolutely. It's not just gazing into them, it's making sure they can gaze back clearly. Jude also brings up allergies and skin issues. Pretty common these days, it seems. Very common, and Cockers are definitely in the mix. The key thing is, these allergies can be triggered by, well, all sorts of things. Food ingredients, stuff in the environment like pollen, dust mites.
Okay.
And this often shows up as itchy skin, lots of scratching, and you guessed it, often links back to recurring ear problems too.
It really is all connected, isn't it? Now, Jude mentions something that sounds quite serious. IMHA, immune-mediated hemolytic anemia.
It is serious, yeah. It's an autoimmune disorder. Basically, the dog's own immune system gets confused and starts attacking its red blood cells.
Oh, wow.
And Jude highlights this, citing a study, I think it was the Journal of Veterinary Internal Medicine, that Cocker Spaniels are actually one of the breeds with a higher incidence, a higher genetic risk for this.
So owners really need to be aware.
Definitely. Vigilance is key. Look out for things like unusual tiredness, like really lethargic or pale gums. Those could be signs needing immediate vet attention. It's not just being a bit off, it's potentially very serious.
Good to know. Okay, let's shift gears a bit. How do we best feed these wonderful dogs? Jude has some specific advice on nutrition.
Right, nutrition, foundational stuff. Jude suggests about 1 to 2 cups of high-quality food per day, and importantly, splitting that into 2 meals.
2 meals, okay. Better for digestion.
Yeah, helps with energy levels, digestion, generally better than 1 big meal.
And what about things like supplements? Omega-3s are mentioned.
Oh, yes. Omega-3 fatty acids are fantastic. Really good for their skin and coat, very relevant for Cockers with that lovely fur. Plus, they support joint health, which ties back to the hip dysplasia risk we talked about.
Makes sense. Jude also circles back to food allergies here, right? Telling owners to watch for itching or tummy issues.
Exactly. It reinforces that connection. If you're seeing those signs as the constant scratching, maybe some vomiting or diarrhea, You really need to chat with your vet. They might suggest, an elimination diet or maybe a special hypoallergenic food to try and nail down the trigger.
Now, a point Jude really hammers home: portion control. Apparently, cockers can be little Hoover vacuums.
Huh? They can be. They definitely have a tendency to gain weight if you're not careful with their food intake. Jude even references the Purina lifespan study, recommending treats should be less than 10% of their daily calories.
That's tough, especially with those eyes begging.
I know, it's hard. But keeping them at a healthy weight is just crucial for their joints, their heart, their overall longevity. It's tough love sometimes.
Got it. Tough love. Okay, moving on to keeping them active. How much exercise do they typically need?
They're pretty energetic little guys. Jude recommends around 60 minutes of activity each day.
Okay, like walks, fetch.
Yeah, brisk walks are great. Games of fetch definitely appeal to their retrieving instincts. Even some gentle agility can be fantastic fun for them.
It's not just physical, right? Mental stimulation is important too.
It's hugely important, just as vital as running around. Jude and sources like the Spruce Pets often mention this. Keep their brains busy.
How do you do that?
Oh, things like puzzle feeders, where they have to work for their food, scent games, hiding treats for them to find using that great nose of theirs. Even short, fun training sessions work wonders. It prevents boredom.
Right, because a bored cocker might get creative.
Exactly. In ways you might not appreciate.
Huh. Okay. Now, a fun bit Jude mentions: many cockers love swimming.
They often do. It's great exercise, really easy on the joints. But if your cocker is a swimmer, you absolutely must clean and thoroughly dry those ears afterwards.
Back to the ears again.
Oh, he's back to the ears. Seriously, though, it's crucial to prevent those infections after they've been in the water. Think of it as rule number 1 post-swim.
Good reminder. Okay, let's talk grooming. That beautiful coat looks like it takes some work.
It definitely does. That silky fur needs daily brushing. Daily. To stop mats and tangles from forming.
Daily? Wow.
Yep. Mats can get tight, pull on the skin, cause irritation, even hide infections. So daily brushing is key.
And baths. How often?
Jude suggests about every 4 to 6 weeks, using a nice mild dog shampoo. Keeps the coat clean and healthy without stripping too much oil.
And, surprise, surprise, ears and teeth are mentioned again in grooming.
You see the pattern? Weekly ear cleaning, we've covered that. But also brushing their teeth several times a week. Periodontal disease is really common in dogs and can affect their whole body.
Right, it's not just about doggy breath.
Not at all. It's about preventing serious health issues down the road.
And what about haircuts? Do they need professional help?
For most owners, yes. Regular professional grooming, say every 6 to 8 weeks, is usually recommended. They know how to handle that specific coat type, trim the feathering around the ears, legs, belly, keeps them comfortable, and helps manage shedding and matting.
Okay, that makes sense. We've covered a lot of the daily and weekly stuff. What about the vet visits, preventative care?
Absolutely essential. Jude advises annual checkups for adult talkers. For senior dogs, probably best to bump that up to twice a year as things can change more quickly when they get older.
And keeping up with shots and parasite control, obviously.
Non-negotiable. Vaccines protect against serious diseases, and consistent flea, tick, and heartworm prevention is just critical. These parasites carry nasty stuff.
Jude also mentions specific screenings for cockers.
Yes. Given their breed predispositions, regular checks for hip issues and those eye conditions we talked about, cataracts, PRA, glaucoma, are really important. Thyroid checks are often a good idea too. And linking back to IMHA, especially as they age, your vet might suggest screening for risk factors related to that as well.
Okay, lots to keep track of, but it sounds like proactive care is the way to go. And this is probably a good moment just to remind you, if you're finding this helpful, please do like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps us out.
Definitely. Now, Jude also includes some really nice special tips, kind of focused on the cocker personality.
Yeah, like their sensitivity. They seem to thrive on positive reinforcement.
Absolutely spot on. They're generally quite sensitive souls. They respond much, much better to gentle, reward-based training. Harsh methods. Not a good idea. They can shut down or get anxious. Patience and positivity are your best tools.
And they really want to be with their people, right? Jude mentions separation anxiety.
Yes, they bond very strongly. That desire to be part of the family means they don't tend to do well if left alone for really long stretches. They can get quite anxious.
So companionship is key.
Companionship, mental stimulation, exercise, making sure they feel secure when you do have to leave. It all helps manage that potential anxiety.
And finally, Jude brings it back to the eyes one last time, just noting they can get irritated easily.
Yeah, those large, beautiful eyes are just more exposed, really. Dust, pollen, sometimes even their own hair can cause irritation. So just keep an eye on them. Gently clean around them if needed, especially if you see excessive tearing or redness. Catching little irritations early stops them becoming bigger problems.
Okay, so wrapping it all up, it sounds like the main message is, with consistent, informed care, the grooming, the right food, the exercise, the vet visits, and, well, just lots of love.
Exactly. Lots of love.
Cocker Spaniels make just wonderful, loyal, cuddly, playful companions.
They really do. They give so much affection. By understanding what they need and being proactive about their health, we can help them live long, happy, really vibrant lives with us.
That's great. Well, we'd love to hear from you listening. Please share your comments below, your thoughts, questions, maybe suggestions, or your own experiences caring for a Cocker Spaniel. We read them all. Have a beautiful day. Take care of your lovely doggies, and we'll see you on the next one.